States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Take a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Val, second by Steve to approve the agenda. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda, we have council workshop report. These are the minutes of the March 25th, 2013 Hampton City Council workshop. Members present were Lukensmeyer, Hageback, Davies, Crowley, Eckhart, and Harms. Also present were myself, City Manager Ron Dunn, Public Works Director Doug Tarr, and Police Chief Bob Schaefer. Pledge of Allegiance was cited. Mayor offered time for public comment, none received. Brooke Bemler addressed the council and stated the hotel motel tax agreement between the city and the chamber, which he submitted for council approval, has been approved by his board. It is structured similar to the agreement the chamber has with the county. Proposed agreement differs from the current city and chamber agreement as follows. Perpetual versus a specified termination date, target area being promoted with the funds, board of directors structure, debt restrictions, hold harmless language, updated name changes, budget language, termination language, and definition of tourism employees. After much discussion on these differences, I suggested having Ron merge the two chamber proposal and current agreement documents into one for council consideration at the next workshop. Doug presented information relating to a citizen request for council to consider adding a time limitation to an already existing no parking zone on 4th Avenue Southeast. The suggestion is to limit the no parking zone from 24 hours a day to a time frame of 7:30 a.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. on school days. Doug will assess the other streets near schools prior to bringing forth the proposed draft ordinance amendment. I then explained the citizen request for parking limitations on the 600 block of 2nd Street Southeast. The consensus of the council was to send a notice to affected property owners affected property owners to attend the April 8th council workshop to give input prior to council action on this matter. Bradley Waddle, Aquatic Center Manager, gave a status update of opening preparations and staffing expectations for the upcoming summer season. He indicated he would like to open Memorial Weekend and would have limited hours the following week until schools break for summer. He also stated he will present wage and pool pass information at a future workshop. I then called for further discussion of my proposal to discontinue fluoridation of the Hampton Public Water Supply. Eric Grote of 114 3rd Avenue Southwest spoke in favor of discontinuation of the fluoridation. Rick Grote, 920 4th Avenue Southeast, also spoke in favor of discontinuing the fluoridation. Dr. Eric Wagner addressed questions regarding tooth decay scenarios. Water Department Operator Terry Ham presented information on the water system and fluoridation processes, testing, and control factors. There was council discussion on the fluoridation matter. An ordinance to discontinue adding fluoride to the public water supply will be on the March 28, 2013 council agenda for consideration. With no other business to discuss, I conclude the meeting at 7:36 p.m. With that, I'll offer time for public comment now, if there's any.
Mary from the Hampton Public Library. I'm answering your request, Sean. You asked for the percentile ranking of the City of Hampton's funding for the library over the years. They just recently started that,
okay.
So I don't have easy access to that. I would have to do a lot of figuring. I can do that if you still want it. But what I did bring in to replace that is the funding history from 1980 clear through 2014's proposed funding, showing you the different, raises and decreases that the city got. The second thing I brought in your packet is the changes in the library's collection when we did not get an increase last year. You'll notice there's about $800 worth of magazines that had to be canceled, and then the book budget was slashed about $3,800 for 200 children's and adult books. The third thing in the packet is something that the state library sent me again about this issue that we seem to be having. She in there quotes the Iowa Attorney General's opinion, and so behind that I enclosed a copy of the Iowa Attorney General's website that you can go to if you have a question regarding this. That was about all I had. Thank you.
Very much. Ron and I, as well as just to bring people up to speed, Ron and I and Councilmember Lukensmeyer attended a library board meeting here a couple weeks ago and had, I think, pretty good discussion. Went back and forth and cleared up some issues, I think, and essentially opened up the lines of communications, I think, a little bit more. And we let Kim Jim know, as well as the board members, that they're welcome to come and present at the council meeting anytime. So thanks for the information, Kim.
Yep, you're welcome.
Any other public comment at this time? Hi, Diane.
Cut somebody off. I just wanted to share a comment with you that this wasn't prompted at all. I told the gal to come to the council meeting and talk to you herself, but I figured she wouldn't be here. No, she's not here. So I said I would speak on her behalf if she couldn't make it. This was in church Sunday, and she talked about whether the fluoride issue had been decided. And I said, not yet. It's still open for anybody's comments, whatever. And she said her son, with their youngest daughter, she did not get the fluoride in the water until she was a little bit older. And they noticed a significant difference in her teeth as far as cavities, decay, and caries that she had. Whether they changed their dietary habits or brushing habits or flossing, I don't know. The only thing she addressed was the fluoride, so I would suspect that they probably didn't change any of their hygiene habits with brushing their teeth. So I hope you'd give it very thoughtful consideration regarding the fluoride. I think it's one of the things the city could do for the population that doesn't cost them anything, and it's good for all ages to have the fluoride in the water. Thank you.
Mayor Dietz, council members. First of all, I'd like to thank you for allowing me, Dennis, to give our feelings on the fluoride issue. I respect everyone's opinion on the fluoride issue. Most everyone feels strongly one way or the other. The thing we seem to be missing here is that this decision should be made by the Hampton citizens. Various individuals have stated strong opinions, pro and con. I think most everyone in this room wishes this issue could be decided by a citywide vote. Iowa law requires this to be a vote of the city council. I feel this whole thing has moved way too fast. It would be nice if we could all step back, let the citizens of Hampton talk to their council person, have the council take a couple of weeks to talk to their neighbors, to get people's views on fluoride, then come back with the true voice of what the Hampton people really want. The true voice of the local citizens would make this important health issue much easier for all of us to accept the outcome. Thank you.
Thanks, Don. Any other public comment? Okay, there's nothing else from the board then. There's no old business. New business, consideration of approval of final pay request for Trail Spur project to Heartland Asphalt in the amount of $2,957.19. I'll refer comment to City Manager Dunn.
Thank you, Mayor. And this is on the peach or salmon colored papers. Basically, this is the retained amount. Project is complete. The first page is the invoice. Second page is the document from engineer Jay Waddingham with the computations and the signature for final release of this retainage, and this will go to Heartland Asphalt in the amount of $2,957.19. Are there any questions? Thank you, Mayor.
No questions? I call for a motion.
So to approve.
Take Steve on the motion. Craig, you want to be a second? Sure. Okay, we have a motion by Steve and a second by Craig to approve the final pay request to Heartland Asphalt in the amount of $2,957.19 for work completed on the Trail Spur project. Is there any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next on the agenda is approval of the claims as submitted by staff. Those in the amount of $118,014.70 tonight. Take a motion to approve the claims.
So moved to approve. I'll second.
A motion by Diane and a second by Jim to approve the claims. Any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next is the introduction and consideration of approval and adoption of ordinance number 339, first reading. Ordinance repealing ordinance number 130 passed and approved by the City of Hampton on September 17, 1975. I'll refer first reading, City Manager Dunn.
Thank you, Mayor. This ordinance number 339 is an ordinance repealing ordinance number 130, which was passed and approved by the City of Hampton on September 17, 1975. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Hampton, Iowa, Section 1, Ordinance number 130 of the City of Hampton, Iowa, passed by the City Council on September 17, 1975, and approved by the Mayor on September 17, 1975, is herewith repealed in its entirety. Section 2, the effective date. This ordinance shall be in effect after its final passage and approval and publication is provided by law. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. I would make a couple of comments. First of all, Dr. Moore, thank you for your comments, and I would not be opposed at all if the council would choose to table or to receive further comment. I wouldn't be opposed to that at all. And I would also say that I appreciate the decorum that has been provided by the dentist, and it's my understanding the last time that there was a lot higher emotions that ran, and I appreciate the level of civility that's been held throughout the discussion. So, at this time, then, I'd be happy to listen to any comments, Craig.
Mayor, I would like to take Dr. Moore's advice. I think that we should table this. Personally, I'm pro-choice, as I have been for the whole thing. I don't care for it to be in there myself, but I respect the dentist's opinion, as I said last time. I certainly respect our citizens' opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, myself, I came home tonight and there's an answering machine full of messages, so I think we should take a step back.
Okay. Would that be a motion, Craig, to table, or?
Yes.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Craig and a second by Steve to table. Any further discussion?
I understand exactly what you're saying, and I agree with you, Craig. I think there's an opportunity for the public to have input, and I agree with what you said. The discussion has been civil. I like what's going on in the council chambers. At any time in a council meeting or in our workshops, you're encouraging that input, and I would encourage anybody in the public to talk to all their council people in regard to this. Had a lot of calls myself at this point, and I think it would be good to wait for a few weeks and let more people respond.
Any other thoughts?
I would also like to see more people attend the council meetings and get up and speak. It's one thing to contact me personally, and I'm fine with that. That's part of the duties. But the fact of the matter is, people don't get up and speak for fear of retribution in some cases. We've seen a letter to the editor that kind of poked the mayor. It's just that kind of thing. Those people have those rights to speak their mind. But we also need to be civil to one another and agree to disagree. And you have your opinion, I have mine, but let's just move on. But I would encourage any and all people to come to these meetings and to workshops. That's your chance to speak.
I'd like to just say, thank you, Dr. Moore, for pointing that out. And today was the first day I did get several phone calls. I've gotten some articles sent to me, I've had some emails sent to me, and I'm gonna be honest, this is the reason I agreed to step on the council. And I really enjoy the fact that we're all going back and forth, and it is civil, it should be civil, and it's my duty to represent what you people think, and I would like to see more people step up. If the people want to keep it, then I'm for that, because that's what my responsibility is. My opinion, then I have to keep that back. I have to do what the public wants. So I think that's a great idea. I say we table it, and I hope more people come to the actual meetings and give us both sides of it and give it a better shot.
Anything else?
I agree. I kind of feel we've rushed it a bit. It seems like just in the last 2 days, I've got all kinds of phone calls, and I had nothing before, so I agree, a little bit of time.
And hopefully, if anything comes out of this, we make the right decision, and maybe if we get more people involved, more people will come to the city council meetings and help us make these decisions, because I don't know everything. I might like to think I do, but I don't, And in the last few weeks, I've learned a lot about fluoride, and in the past few months, I've learned a lot about everything. And that's our responsibility, is do what you guys want us to do. So if anything, I hope this makes more people come and voice their opinion and educate us.
Anything else? Okay. Well, we'll take a vote then. The motion and the second is to table this decision. Harms?
Aye.
Hardback?
Aye.
Lukensmeyer?
Aye.
Eckhart?
Aye.
Raleigh?
Aye.
Davies?
Aye.
Item is tabled. Next on the agenda is the consent agenda. Tonight that includes approving the previous minutes as drafted from the Thursday, March 14th, 2013 regular session meeting, scheduling the next regular session for Thursday, April 11th, 2013 at 6 p.m. at City Council chambers. Approval of liquor licensing amendment, brew pub privilege to license issued to Rustic Brew at 117 First Street Northwest in Hampton, Iowa. Take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
A motion by Dick and a second by Steve to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion?
We're just clarifying there on Rustic Brew, since they're now brewing beer upstairs, that's what that change is.
That's right, they have an initial license for serving, and this is related to the brewing.
Anything else? Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next we have staff reports. Fire Chief Wilkinson, I don't think he's, Police Chief Bocci.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council, and City Manager. Continue our nuisance efforts. I guess I'm a little disappointed in some of the people that have been parking their front yards even after the snow is gone, and they look like a disaster area with mud. If we could have some help from the news media to let people know that it is illegal, it is against city ordinance to park in the front yards. Because of snow removal and whatever, we have allowed that to just kind of happen, and as long as they're moved off of the front yard and back on the street once the plows have gone by, I guess that doesn't mean that you park there all winter long. So I am kind of disappointed in what I see going around town with that. And again, we are continuing the nuisance enforcement. I know Corporal Morrison went out today and was looking at and wrote up several different places that might have tires or machinery or appliances, things like that. So, as you all know, yesterday we had an incident at the high school. I'm not going to say a whole lot about that other than basically what the media already knows. However, I would like to dispel some rumors because I know that just went rampant after the lockdown occurred. I was called probably at about 11 o'clock yesterday by one of the staff up there that he had found a 22 round that rolled under, into the closet, and wondered, what should we do? And I said, well, let's go and just look through the room, make sure there isn't anything in the room, and they've done that. Well, about an hour later, he called me and said that they had found more that were in the cafeteria area. To make a long story short, we did locate the subject that they had come from. We did do a search of the lockers, all the lockers, and basically the area where the people were at and the people as they came out of the room to make sure that there was no weapon. There was no weapon located. There was no weapon found in a vehicle. He did not have a vehicle at school. He had ridden the bus. So I guess I would like to dispel that rumor that that had been going around. Unfortunate incident. He says that they were there because he had been hunting over the weekend. Well, there isn't any hunting season. Well, target practicing or whatever, they'd fallen out of his sweatshirt when he had it tied around his waist. So that's kind of where that's at. We've had about 37 applicants for the police officer's job, and we're looking for probably April 20th for testing and interviews. Hopefully, we have had some certified officers, and they wouldn't necessarily have to go through testing, or some of those that don't have to test. We might go and send letters out, and those that could make it on the 6th of April, try to go and do that so that we don't have, we don't have 37 that we're going to interview, but there's probably about half of those that we are, and hopefully we can break that up. Officer Brandt and myself went to active shooter training up in Northwood. Great stuff. I want all my officers to go to that. It's put on by Homeland Security, and the best part about it is it's free, other than your way up there and basically your meals. Actually, we're in Northwood School, we use that. The people that do the training, they have the insurance, so if anything gets broke, they take care of it. There was I guess there was a thermostat that got broke. They have the insurance, they take care of that. It was basically going from room to room, going for the active shooter. Even had a little bit where if there was a terrorist type deal involved in that, and not just the active shooter, if there were bombs and things like that. So, very good training. Also, been talking with the school, and they are up to speed as far as training for their staff. They're looking at, there's different ideas and different things as far as the training of what to do when they do a lockdown or a lock-in. And I think they're trying to look and find which one is the right one for our community. So you're probably going to be hearing more about that. Things are starting to pick up, a little active last couple of days, and that just goes along with the warm weather, I guess. Also, the Pony Express will be in town tomorrow, Friday, from about 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. They're going to be at the intersection of Highway 3 and 65 with a booth for donations, just so people are aware of that. And I want to wish everyone a happy Easter. Any questions? Yes.
I had a visit today from someone who is about a block away from this residence. 700 block of 3rd Avenue Southeast. There's a garage that has a door that's, I think he indicated it was off, laying on the ground, and the garage may be overspilling with stored material. So maybe it's one that you've already attended to.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Joe Tar.
Thank you, Mayor. Spring's obviously getting closer with warm weather today. Compost site is originally scheduled to be open a week from this Saturday. Keep in mind, weather will dictate that opening. It's quite wet down there and sloppy, and you know, we've had issues before with that during the springtime. It may or may not, if we get some dry weather to dry some things up. We may be able to open on time, we may not. I just advise people to stay tuned to KLMJ, because that's where we report whether we're going to be open or closed due to weather or any other event. And basically, got a lot of things right around the corner for us, and we look forward to a busy construction season coming up. Any questions or concerns? Yes, Craig.
Doug, I'd like to have your report, item number 5, about the expansion joints in 65. I had a call about that the other night. The person seen something sticking up, didn't know what it was, so I'm glad to see that you're addressing it and you're working with the DOT to take care of it.
Thank you.
Couple questions. One, the compost site, I did receive a call today from a citizen who had some storm damage, tree storm damage. He's cut up the wood, the burnable firewood. Is wondering what our policy is going to be for the branches that remain, as far as the citizen taking them to the compost site.
I think from my understanding, if it's a citizen in town and they have branches, they'll take it to the compost site just like they normally would.
That's what I understood.
Yeah, and once we get a large enough accumulation, then staff would possibly move that the second time out to where we are able to have that site available to us when Kevin Crowley. So.
Okay, that's what I.
And on those terms, we're still working on the agreement with Kevin at this time, and Kevin and I met, had a discussion, and we're just, Ron and I are working on putting the agreement together. We're just about there.
Okay. And item 9, I know you've been into some discussions with Trevor Murphy about an inexpensive dehumidification process that he's using. What did you see? How'd that look to you?
It may be a potential.
Flowers, where he's doing that, right? Alexander?
Actually both.
Okay.
However, both, I visited both. It may be an option, but our building is about twice as big, and we're running probably almost 5 times as much water through our facility as they are. That may factor into it, but I've also been in touch, as you can see, with a couple engineering firms and some other plants that are bigger, some bigger than us, some smaller. I've also met with and talked to Mike Harper, local electrician, about having multiple units, multiple smaller units. We may have to install some electrical lines in. You know, there's gonna be a cost with that probably to take a look at as well. Just not quite there yet. We do have a few more people to talk to yet, but I do think by the next workshop I'll be able to offer council a full range of different solutions potentially. So, and what the costs are associated with them.
Thank you.
Anything else for that? Thanks.
Thank you.
Rhonda?
Last week I attended the 2013 IMMI conference. It's the Iowa Municipal Management Institute conference. It was in Iowa City. It primarily focuses on intense sessions without consultants or exhibits. And it's organized through the University of Iowa Institute of Public Affairs under the direction of Jeff Schott. And many different sessions, all related to city management. The speakers at the conference are university professors of differing expertise, panels of city managers, labor law attorneys, bonding attorneys, Iowa League of Cities, and International City County Management Association reps. And all of the speakers come with vast experience relevant to city management, whether it's law, business, or management, and it results in a very beneficial learning experience. So appreciate being able to attend this. It's beneficial. Anybody have any questions about anything else? Happy Easter.
Council reports, Jim Davies.
Well, the Hampton Dumont High School boys tennis team's first meet is coming Thursday. I hope to get on the courts for the first time on Monday. Have a nice Easter.
Steve Arms.
I'm really glad that we tabled this tonight on this vote, because like I said, there was a bunch of messages, and after I told it up, my running count's about 50-50 split. So there's a lot of opinions out there here. Go ahead.
Al Horvath.
I'd just like to tell Chief Schaefer, thank you for, again, you know, taking care of our kids and bringing, you know, the awareness to us all that it does happen. And luckily this wasn't as big an incident as because the rumors were big. But even like at our school today, I mean, we're gonna start taking some precautions ourselves as teachers. It does happen. Just thank you.
Diane Problem.
The only thing I have is the library spring open house is next Thursday, April 4th from 10 to 5.
Dick Lukenmeyer.
Just like to pause for a moment to think about this weekend and what it means to those in the Christian faith, or whatever church you worship at. Hopefully you'll take part in those services in respect for what God has done for all of us.
Greg.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to thank everybody that contacted me regarding their thoughts, pros or cons, on fluoride. Particularly, I'd like to thank the people of the 4th Ward. Once again, I heard good and loud from a lot of them, and I appreciate that. And I too would like to echo everybody else's thoughts and wish everybody a happy Easter, and that's it.
Two things for my report tonight. First, I'll pass out to you guys the proposed bylaws for the Franklin County Emergency Management Commission. I had a request at the meeting the other night that I get approval from the council to vote for this, even though you've already approved for me to be the representative on the commission. There was a request that each of the mayors get approval from the council to approve the bylaws. So we'll look these over, and then at our next workshop we'll talk about it, and you can vote on that at our next council meeting, and then those will be voted on at the next Emergency Management Commission meeting, which will be 3rd week in April, I believe. So take a gander at those. If you have any thoughts or concerns, shoot me an email or a phone call. Law Enforcement Center, we've got another meeting coming up on Monday, and we hope to come out of that with a document that you can vote on. I say that at every meeting. This time I think I mean it. So hopefully a couple of things got muddled up after the last meeting, and hopefully we can get those straightened out. So we'll get that addressed with the supervisors next Monday. Ron and I will be in attendance at the supervisors meeting, so any of you are welcome to attend as well. And I also have an Arbor Day proclamation to read tonight. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees, and whereas the holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, lower our heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife, and whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products, whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community, and whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now therefore, I, Sean Dietz, Mayor of the City of Hampton, Iowa, do hereby proclaim Friday, April 26, 2013 as Arbor Day in the City of Hampton, Iowa. We urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, I urge all citizens to plant and care for trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. This 28th of March in the year 2013. Again, I did not write that, but it sounds wonderful. So, that might be why. Might be onto something. And then just as a reminder, I'll be having another Saturday coffee on Saturday morning from 9 to 10. I had some good discussion this last Saturday, and hope to see some of you there this Saturday. If there's nothing else, I call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
6:30.